Hello, hello, hello. What is going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Happy Memorial Day. And as always, welcome to the Astro Room here on YouTube, where we discuss everything astrology. Speaking of astrology, this is the weekly astro forecast for the week of May 29th through June 4th, 2023. I am your host and your favorite astrologer, Mel of Divine Feminine Works, where I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic. So if you are new to the channel, welcome. And as always, if you're returning, welcome back. Speaking of the channel, this channel is everything tarot, astrology, spirituality, and manifestation. So if those are the things you like, if those are the things you love, if those are the things you want to learn more about, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so you'll always be notified when I come up with new content. All right, my loves. So like I said, this is the weekly astro forecast for May 29th through June 4th. Thankfully, this is a week that isn't going to be too crazy. I think definitely last week and I could say probably the week before that, we were hit with some pretty abrupt transits. I think that we were hit with some astrology that was kind of jarring a little bit, but this week things are settling down a little bit. All right. So of note going on this week is that we've got a full moon in Sagittarius going down next weekend. So we have that to look forward to. And we also have a transit that's been playing out since last week, but that we're really going to feel this week. And that is Jupiter conjunct the North Node. This is going to be a pretty big deal. It happens like once every 12 years or so. So this is a time to be really paying attention to what is going on right now, because what's going on right now is really sort of setting us up for the future. It's one of those situations where in a couple of years, you're going to be looking back at a particular situation in your life and you're going to be like, I remember that during this time now, during May, June of 2023, that's when things really started to take shape, or that's when things really started or got off the ground. So definitely this is a time to be conscious, be aware, and realize what's going on around you and in your life. All right. So if you are joining me here on the live this evening, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Feel free to say hello in the chat and hit that like button on your way in. All right. And if you are joining me on the replay, I appreciate you just as much. Hopefully you enjoy this information. And if you do, and if you find it valuable, also hit that thumbs up button, please. And thank you. All right. So we are nearing the end of May, right? And so that means that we've got a monthly forecast coming up, specifically the monthly forecast for the month of June. And so I will be going live on Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to let you know all about what June has in store. We've got a pretty interesting transit going on in June that I'm going to be discussing at length, and it's on one of our favorite topics. All right, so if you want to know more about that and what that is, again, hit that subscribe button, that notification bell, and tune in on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern for the monthly astro forecast. All right, so if you are someone who likes your horoscope, right, but you don't like looking online, or some of the shit you be seeing on Instagram and whatnot is whack or just doesn't resonate, maybe you want to consider signing up for my text service where I will text you your weekly horoscope every Monday morning. All right. It's quick, dirty, to the point, succinct, and people seem to really like it. The feedback I get from this is that people are like, oh my God, that's so spot on. Or yes, that's exactly what happened to me last week. All right. So if you are interested, definitely text the word ZODIAC to the number 855-826-5544. All right. And that information will be in the description box below. All right. First of all, let's let the people over on Twitter know that we are live so that they can come over and join us. Oh yeah, that didn't work. So Mercury is finally going to be going out of its shadow period this week. Thank God, because the electronic situation has been low-key a nightmare. So following this week, Mercury will be going back to its regularly scheduled program. It's going to be moving direct in Taurus. Well, it has been moving direct in Taurus, but now it's going to be out of the shadow period. So no more wonkiness, and things are sort of going to get back to normal, like for real, until the next 3 months when Mercury goes retrograde again. All right. And if you are someone who is new to astrology, and you have no idea what's going on. You're like, I'm interested. I want to know more, but I don't understand the jargon, all of these lines, numbers, symbols. Like, I just don't get it. Or if you've started studying astrology and you're like, I can't commit this to memory. This is a lot. I got you covered. So I created the Astrology Basics cheat sheet, which is basically the quick and dirty on everything you need to know to start studying astrology, namely the 4 pillars of astrology, which are the houses, the signs, the zodiac signs, the planets, and the aspects. All right. So I created this 11-page PDF document that gives you the quick and dirty again on all of these things so you can start studying, start committing them to memory, and really start to understand them, right? Because astrology is definitely a science, and like any science, requires a good deal of study. However, it's more than just memorization. And here's where astrology takes science to another level. It's more than just memorization. Like, there is an element of intuition. There's an element of almost divination that goes along with astrology. So this is to help you get the basics down and understand what these things are. And in understanding, then you can take it a step further and start to intuit certain things, start to, process certain things so you can really get the hang of this, right? And so if you're interested, this cheat sheet, the link to the cheat sheet will be in the description box below. All you have to do is put in your email address and you will be good to go. And I've got you covered on another base too. So apart from just the Astrology Basics cheat sheet, I actually did a series on how to read your natal chart. Okay. It's 5 videos, and the 4 videos cover these 4 pillars of astrology. And then the 5th video puts it all together and teaches you in a sort of surface level, rudimentary way how to read your natal chart. And if you're interested in that, the link to that playlist will be in the description box below as well. All right. So my loves, let's chat. So before we get into it, I got a sort of channeled message as I was preparing for this live. So before every live, I meditate, I pray, I pull cards at the end of the live. So I shuffle the cards and do all the things that I do. And the word that was screaming at me was the word crossroads. And I feel like many of us are, some of us have been, and even more of us will soon experience sort of reaching an impasse or reaching a crossroads and figuring out which way to go. Now, the way that this really resonated for me is that there is the old world and the new world. There's the old you and the new you. And you're sort of at a crossroads between the two. The vibration of the earth is increasing, right? It's getting higher. The vibration of earth is rising, okay? And it's requiring us to rise as well in our frequency, in our vibration, in our ascension, right? And so we're kind of at a point where, we have free will. Just because everything else is going on around us doesn't mean that we have to partake, right? We can sort of stay where we're at, maybe where we're comfortable, where we feel safe, or we can dare to ascend. And this is the crossroad that I think that many people are at right now. You may find the way that this is playing out is kind of like things in your life that you used to really like, things that you used to resonate with, they just don't hit the same anymore. People that you used to hang out with, just not working anymore. It's not the same. And maybe you feel like you're missing something. Maybe you feel like you're desiring something and you may not even know what it is. Like, you're just kind of like, I know that I want more, but I'm trying to figure out what that is. That is like your soul saying, listen, it's time for us to take it to the next level. It's time for us to really explore something new. Okay. It's time for us to rise. And, it's a process. I mean, people have been waking up, becoming conscious and aware for a minute now. And I feel like that consciousness is going to come to a fever pitch. And a lot of people are really going to be starting to wake up a lot more rapidly. Okay. And that's why videos like this and anyone else, not everyone, but most of the people who are, on YouTube or on Instagram, really speaking of spirituality, things like astrology, divination, all of those things, that's what it's there for. It's there to assist. Even a lot of the manifestation content in and of itself is meant for the same purpose, because as you ascend, you are really stepping into your God self, and your God self is a master manifester. And so kind of that crossroad is like, well, am I going to stay where I'm at, where maybe I am a victim of my circumstances, or maybe I feel like everything is happening to me, not for me, and I'm living a life that really isn't up to my greatest potential, right? Or am I going to ascend? Am I going to open up? Am I going to have faith? Am I going to really tap into my God self and see what life really has to offer? Okay. And I feel like this is where many of us are at right now. So the choice is yours. You always have free will. However, the way things are going, if you find that you are at a crossroad, it's because your soul really is trying to have you ascend. If you weren't at the crossroad, your ass would be asleep. You would definitely be living an unconscious life, and this message would not get to you. Maybe other messages wouldn't find you. Life would just seem chill the way it is. Like you would just be doing regular shit, right? But if you find that you're at a crossroads, it's because it's time to level up. And there's no time like the present. And, you know, this spiritual journey, it's not for the faint of heart. And it's not to say that it is overbearing or overwhelming, although at times it can feel that way. It's not for the faint of heart because it requires you to dig deep within yourself and find strength you didn't know you had, wisdom you didn't know you had. Like there's so much inside you that's been laying dormant. And your soul just wants to wake those things up and experience life, truly experience life the way you are meant to experience it as your God self. Okay. And so it's really about having faith, not just in source, God, universe, but most importantly, faith in yourself, because God lives within you, right? This is about depending on yourself for good and for bad. Taking accountability for the things that you've created in your life, but also knowing that you have the ability to create new things. Understanding what you are here to do. Because part of this is not just, oh, everyone's waking up just to, you know, manifest cars and marriages and shit like that. We're waking up because many of us have purposes here. And for some, that's to help other people wake up. It's to help other people find themselves, find their true selves, find their authentic selves through the work that we do. And I say that to say that you don't have to be a spiritualist. You don't even have to be an astrologer or anything like that. Whatever you do, whatever your purpose in life is, that may help people ascend. Your very presence may help people ascend, but you have to be there. You have to be who you are meant to be. And so again, if you find yourself at a crossroads, maybe it's time to take the high road. Maybe it's time to really get shit popping and get to where you really need to be and to who you are meant to be. And that's a pretty good segue into, you know, the major theme of this week, which is the full moon in Sagittarius. Now, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is about abundance. It's about luck. It's about good fortune. And yes, this full moon has a lot to do with that. But by and large, Jupiter represents our higher consciousness. It also represents faith in the unseen, unwavering faith. And for some, this is really about finding your inner abundance. You know how in the Bible they say, you know, they talk about the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven is within you. And it's time to find that. It's time to have the faith in yourself to uncover that, discover that, and live that. And many of us are going to be seeing signs of this, feeling signs of this with this full moon in Sagittarius this week. So it's an important full moon for the future, for where you're headed. It's going to show you perhaps where you've been weighed down. It also may rev up your desires, because the way that this full moon is structured, a lot of us are going to be feeling fearless. A lot of us are going to be really ready to put the pedal to the metal and really go forward, but not forward, like higher ascension. All right. So again, important energy. So we definitely have that to look forward to. And like I mentioned before, We also have Jupiter conjunct the North Node. Now, I talked about this in the weekly astro forecast last week, but this is very important. Now, I just talked about how Jupiter is all about faith. It's all about that higher consciousness, right? Jupiter conjunct the North Node, that's like understanding what your purpose is, understanding and appreciating new opportunities that are unfolding before you, and having the faith to sort of jump in head first. Like, this is the time, if you feel called in any direction, if you're getting nudges but you've been ignoring them, or you're like, I don't know if I'm ready. The fact that you're feeling that nudge means that you're ready. Your mind may not be ready. Your ego may not be ready, but your soul was born ready, right? And this is the time when a lot of people are starting to feel this. They're starting to feel these pulls. They're starting to feel these nudges. They're starting to feel things that they've never felt before. And they're like, I don't know what this is, but I can't ignore it. I don't know what this is, but I need to explore this. I need to see what this is. And that may have you going left when everyone else is going right, or it may have you going sideways when everyone is going straight, right? Like, this is about following your own path, having the faith in your own path. This reminds me of something I heard earlier this week that makes so much sense. Think about planting a seed, because this is a time right now when many people are planting the seeds of their future. They're planting that spiritual journey. They're at the beginning of this awakening, right? And so, when you have seeds, it could be an apple seed, it could be a tomato seed, any seed that you plant, it comes within it encoded everything that it needs to grow, develop, and come to fruition. You don't have to tell an apple seed, okay, you need to sprout at this time, or you need to do this or do that. The seed itself contains all of the information it needs to become an apple. And we are the same. What is inside of us, you can trust it because it knows the way. You may think you don't know because your ego has you on some fuck shit. And I mean that sincerely. This is the lesson that I've been immersed in over the last couple of weeks. Your ego has you programmed, has you conditioned, has you running on a program that tells you to not trust yourself, that tells you to not love yourself, that tells you you're not enough and that you're not worthy. Meanwhile, within you, you have this seed that knows exactly what to do to blossom without any instruction. Most of us just have to quiet that ego, quiet our monkey mind to hear, to feel, to understand how we are to be planted. Okay, so this is the time to go within. This is the time to understand. This is the time to listen to those promptings, to those nudges, to that intuition, because you know exactly what you need to do. Maybe you're thinking, okay, I know I'm here to do something, but I have no idea what it is. Quiet your mind, pray, meditate, or just sit the fuck still. Like, let's be real for a second, okay? This is me being real. Like, we are so distracted. And I'm not saying don't go on social media, don't watch TV. Like, of course, do those things, but do not do them to the detriment of finding out who you are and why you're here, okay? Like, you have to be disciplined enough to say, listen, like, yes, I know that I've been scrolling mindlessly, or I know that I've been doing this. It's time for me to focus on myself. It's time for me to stop distracting myself with social media. It's time for me to stop distracting myself with, friends or going out. I'm not saying you shouldn't go out, but sometimes we go out and sometimes we, party a lot or whatever. It's really a distraction from ourselves. Or maybe you're distracting yourself through other things. Maybe you're getting high every day. Maybe you drink it every day. That is taking you away from yourself. Everything in this world, much of it is designed to have you not know who the fuck you are and to take you as far away from yourself as possible. Because if we had a world full of people who are with themselves, who are in alignment with themselves on earth and above, this world will be such a different place. You would have self-autonomy. You wouldn't need people to tell you what to do. Because remember, that seed within you, it has all the information it needs to blossom. And so this is what many of us are discovering right now. This is what we are tapped into. This is the vibe that many of us are on right now. And so if you are, keep going. And this full moon in Sagittarius, it's going to give you that faith. It's going to give you that optimism to keep going. Because trust and believe, this journey it's not always roses and rainbows. This isn't some love and light shit. This isn't some let me wear some just waist beads or let me carry some crystals and I'm doing the work. No, boo-boo. No, you're not. You can wear those things. You can have those things, of course. I mean, crystals are amazing. They really help when you know how to use them for how they are intended. But if you're doing things thinking that you have the aesthetic, so that's the work, you are going to be in for a rude awakening, but maybe that's by design. Maybe you need a swift kick in your ass at some point to get you on track, right? But you wouldn't know that unless you know yourself. So that's all I have to say about that for this evening. All right. So with that, let's get into the highlights and see what we got going on for this week. All right. So first up, we have what I like to call love and tenderness. All right. And we've got Venus trine Neptune this week. So this is a very feel-good, lovey-dovey, affectionate transit. All right. This is about love, but not just love. It's love on an earthly sense, like love, for people, love of things, but it's also a love on a greater level. It's spiritual love. It's universal love. Neptune is actually a higher octave, a higher frequency of Venus. So Venus is like, I love you. I care for you. I love my car. Like, I love how this feels. Neptune is like, I have love for everyone. And that's that Jesus love, that unconditional love, right? So we've got access to this sort of love this week, which is amazing because I just talked about that full moon in Sagittarius, right? And how this is about having faith and opening up and, revisit what I just said before. But then this Venus trine Neptune, you're going to feel that love. If you are tapped in, you are going to feel the love of source. You are going to feel that spiritual love, that universal love, and that can actually skyrocket you in terms of moving forward in your spiritual journey. It's also really good for creativity. Creativity comes from within. It doesn't come from, it doesn't, the best forms of it doesn't necessarily come from ego. It comes from your soul. And so this is a perfect transit, especially if you do creative work. Like, this is going to be beautiful for you. All right. Then we have what I like to call seeing the big picture. And this is that full moon in Sagittarius I was talking about before. So this is seeing and understanding the bigger picture. So our life purpose, our soul's mission, our place in this world, what's going on right now, all of that stuff. It's also about spiritual guidance. Okay. So this may be a time where you're seeking out spiritual guidance or you're able to give spiritual guidance to others. Okay. There's also going to be this element of like ancestry and past patterns that may be showing up. So if you are, the black sheep of the family, if you are the curse breaker of the family, I get the sense that you're going to see some of that or see what you need to work on, especially with this full moon. All right. And then last, we have Mercury conjunct Uranus, and I call this light bulb moment. So this is going to be aha moments. This is going to be flashes of insight. This may be chance encounters and conversations. This may be communication that is surprising. Neither good nor bad, but just something out of the blue, right? And this is going to give us, this is sort of that, I don't want to say, so I've talked a lot about our soul, right? Especially with the full moon in Sagittarius, with Venus trine Neptune. Mercury conjunct Uranus is really going to be sort of the mind, the consciousness part of this bigger picture. So you're not only going to be feeling things on a soul level, experiencing things on a soul level. Mercury conjunct Uranus is going to have you understanding it on a conscious level, on a mental level, even on an ego level, okay? So much can be accomplished this week. And you know what's funny? I feel like I say that every week. I'm like, much can be accomplished this week. That's because every week is full of possibility, depending on how you look at it. But again, much can be accomplished this week. So you definitely want to tap in, get right, and start moving forward. All right. So let's take a look at the week and see exactly what we've got going on. So today, we don't have too much going on this week. So today, Monday, we've got the moon in Libra. Then on Wednesday, we've got the moon in Scorpio. So because we're working our way up to a full moon, the moon is waxing right now. So this is a great time to get things done, to take steps towards your manifestation, to take action if you feel inspired to do so. Okay. Then on Friday, we've got Venus trine Neptune. On Saturday, we've got the star aspect of the week, which is the full moon in Sagittarius. And then we close out the week on Sunday with Mercury conjunct Uranus. All right, so without further ado, let's get into it. All right. So we start things off this week with the moon in Libra. So the moon is waxing in Libra. Okay. And you will see that at 0 degrees Libra, which will be at the bottom left-hand portion of the chart. All right. So whenever the moon is in Libra, this is where we realize that working with others, relating to others, anything having to do with others is where we derive our emotional satisfaction. So anytime the moon is in Libra, this is the time when we want to talk to people, when we want to socialize, when we don't necessarily feel like being alone, okay? Because think of it this way. The last place that the moon was, since I guess the other day, was in Virgo. Virgo is symbolized by the hermit. Like Virgo can be very solitary energy. It's kind of when we get our life in order, and we don't necessarily do that with other people. We're kind of just by ourselves, cleaning up, organizing, making things efficient, all that stuff. And after sort of, moon in Virgo can have you feeling like cabin fever, right? Because you're just kind of inside and working, handling practical tasks. And after that, you kind of just want to go out, right? You kind of just want to, if you've been cooped up in the house, you want to go out and see people. You want to talk to people. You want to hang out. And that's exactly how the moon in Libra makes us feel, okay? With the waxing moon in Libra, this is all about understanding that when it comes to goals we want to achieve, things that we want to manifest, things that we want to have in our lives, it's not always a solitary task, right? Cooperation, teamwork. Sometimes what we need requires the assistance, the input, or even the energy of other people. And so we realize that maybe we need help. Maybe we should ask for help. Maybe we should reach out to people, let them know what we're doing and see what they can offer us. Or maybe we are the ones that are going to be helping someone and working with someone toward achieving something, right? In any event, moon in Libra is really about understanding that no man is an island, and that, cooperation, teamwork, partnership, all of that is a really good thing. One of the other things I like about moon in Libra is that because Libra is ruled by Venus, moon in Libra is really great for mending relationships because you can kind of see things objectively and you can kind of reach an amicable agreement, or maybe even just mend relationships. So if you find that you've been on the outs with someone, if you find that maybe something happened and you're not on the same page, perhaps with someone as you were before, wait until the moon is in Libra, specifically when the moon is waxing in Libra. And that will allow you to mend that relationship or be friends again or get things back on track. All right. So that's a pro tip for you. If you want to mend a relationship, always do it during a waxing moon in Libra. All right. So that is pretty much that. Let's keep it moving. All right. And then next up on Wednesday, we have the moon moving into Scorpio. All right. And you will see that at 0 degrees Scorpio. And as such, when the moon is in Scorpio, it will be conjunct the South Node. Okay. The South Node is currently still in Scorpio. So the moon in Scorpio is going to cross over that or conjunct that over the next couple of days. All right. Moon in Scorpio is very intense. All right. So we just came off the moon in Libra, right? This is where we're socializing, hanging out, being with people, whatever. But here's the thing with Libra. Libra kind of keeps things a little superficial. Libra can be very chatty, very charismatic, but doesn't necessarily dive deep under the surface. Now imagine this. So you spent time indoors, cooped up, cleaning up during moon in Virgo. Then you're like, damn, I kind of need to go out. I need to really interact with people. So you do that under moon in Libra. Maybe you reach out and you talk to someone or you mend a relationship, whatever. And then you realize once the moon goes into Scorpio, you realize like, yo, some of these people that I hang out with or that I talk with, like it's very superficial. I don't know if you went through this phase, but I went through a phase where I had lots of friends. But the only time that we were like friends was when we were partying, when we were going out, right? There was absolutely no substance. You could ask me anything about these people and I really wouldn't know because we were just like party friends. And you realize that that may not be as fulfilling as you need it to be. That's when the moon in Scorpio comes in. The moon in Scorpio is like, all right, we got people around us, but who's really down for us? Who's 10 toes down for us? How well do I know this person? How close is this person to me? Like Scorpio is very much about intimacy. That's why Scorpio rules sex, right? So this is about forming stronger bonds. These are about bonds that aren't superficial. This is about really getting under the surface and understanding not only the people that you interact with, but yourself mostly. Whenever the moon is in Scorpio, it's really a time where we dig deep. It can be a very emotional moon because Scorpio is a water sign, number one. And number two, Scorpio is about repressed emotions. It can be about emotional trauma and wounds and some of the stuff that we may not like to address. Like Scorpio goes deep under the surface and really calls your attention to what needs to be eradicated from your life in terms of emotional baggage or in terms of things that are standing in the way of you really stepping into your God self, right? So it's all about substance over superficiality. And in digging deep, right, it's not like repressed emotions come up just for the hell of it, right? It's really about healing. And in healing, you empower yourself. Scorpio has a lot to do with power. And if you use the energy of Scorpio correctly, it can allow you to empower yourself. What always reminds me of Scorpio energy is the movie 8 Mile and how, Eminem, he wasn't, the greatest rapper at first. And he realized his insecurities. He realized the shit that people would clown him for. And so what did he do? He put that shit out himself, right? He put that shit out himself so no one can hold it over him. That is power. Owning your demons, making friends with your demons, understanding your dark side, and not allowing anyone to use that against you is the essence of Scorpio energy. And so this may be a time where you are confronting that, but understand that you're confronting this and you're going through this in order to empower yourself, all right? And because the moon is going to be waxing, again, this is showing you what you don't need, emotionally speaking, so you can get rid of it. So not only are you empowering yourself, but you have room for the things that you want to have, all right? You have energetic room for those things. So again, much can be accomplished this week. All right, so let's keep it moving. All right, and then on Friday, we've got Venus trine Neptune. So you'll see Venus at 27 degrees Cancer. And Neptune is at 27 degrees Pisces. All right. Now, what I love about this, and I sort of alluded to this before, is that this is the transit all about love. We've got that earthly sort of love with Venus, and then we have that spiritual, universal love with Neptune. But this is going to be extra emotional because both of these planets are in water signs. So this is really feeling love. This is really feeling affection, feeling compassion. All right. It's almost like crying happy tears of joy. You're feeling so good that you are just crying from joy. Okay. Like that's sort of the energy that we have at our disposal. All right. So of course it's perfect for romance. It's perfect for relationships. I feel like all relationships across the board are going to at least have the opportunity to experience like peace, harmony, love, togetherness, affection, right? Like I feel like all relationships can tap into this energy. It's also a great way to feel fulfilled and not even feel fulfilled from a relationship, right? It's feeling fulfilled within. Like when you tap into that spiritual love, that universal love, you don't need to feel it from other people. You can feel that within yourself because not only do you have God within you, you have the universe within you. So you can just tap into that energy yourself. And when I tell you that that is a love like none other, number one, but number two, it's just so fulfilling. And this is the energy that we have at our disposal this week. All right. This is also really great for daydreaming. And daydreaming is super important, okay? Because our imagination, our thoughts, our emotions is what helps us create. It's what helps us manifest. And you don't even need to be on some specific shit, right? You don't need to be like, okay, I'm going to use this energy to manifest a relationship. I'm going to use this energy to manifest this or that. Being in that state of love is going to manifest things that love you or things that you love, which could be a relationship. It could be material things. It could be a job. And it could be all of the above. So it's one of those days where you just want to sit in the energy of love. I know that sounds super kind of corny and it sounds very like tree hugging and love and light type shit, but that's how the universe works. I mean, I don't make the rules, but tapping into just love, period, is going to attract things that love you and things that you love. Plain and simple, okay? It's also a great transit for things like charity work and for compassion and things like that, right? And all of that is good karma. I'm not saying to do it just to get karma points, right? But it feels good to help people. And in turn, at some point, you may need help, and that help and that love and that assistance will come right back to you. So it's great for, that karmic cycle. Again, there's the element of compassion, all of that stuff. But this is also a great transit for creativity, especially when it comes to things like movies, when it comes to things like entertainment, all of that kind of stuff thrives. Okay, this is the time where I wouldn't be surprised if, okay, let me say this. A lot of what we see in the movies is really just a reflection of what's actually going on. But we've been conditioned to think that it's outlandish or fantastical, right? All of these fantasy movies are really like how shit works. Like aliens, the supernatural, all that stuff, that's like legit, right? And all of that stuff, how they come up with these ideas for these movies are like, they are likely inspired from the universe, okay? And so I wouldn't be surprised if under this transit, people are inspired to create things that are a reflection of the universe. So I wouldn't be surprised, especially if you create films or movies, like this is the transit for you. And this isn't about like, all right, let me do this, that, and the third to manifest this or to make this happen. No, you just got to sit with it. Let it come to you. Sit in that feeling, sit in that energy or that frequency of creativity. Allow yourself to be an open vessel to receive what the universe is really trying to show you or tell you or give you that idea, and just watch the magic happen, like legitimately. It's also a day for like relaxing and really appreciating beauty. It's like great for like a spa day. It's great for a day to just relax, watch TV, maybe hang out with friends, right? And this is going down on a Friday. So definitely, you may have some work to do Friday during the day, but definitely Friday night, like just chill. It's definitely like a Netflix and chill kind of situation, right? It can also be just like listening to music, maybe have a little dinner party or something like that, right? Like just nice, chill, relax, positive vibes. Great transit for that. All right. So let's keep it moving. All right. And then we get to Saturday. And Saturday, we've got the gold star event of the week, which is the full moon in Sagittarius. All right. So you will see the moon will be at 13 degrees Sagittarius, which is at the upper left-hand portion of the chart. And then the sun will be at 13 degrees Gemini. Right. So again, full moon is when the moon and the sun are opposite. And you can definitely see that here on the chart. All right. So full moon in Sagittarius is going down 11:41 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, it's at 13 degrees Sagittarius. So Sagittarius energy, like I mentioned before, it's expansive. It's all about expansion and growth. It's optimistic. It's the higher mind. It's opening your mind, broadening your horizons. There's a bit of this larger than life energy, this energy of broadening your horizons, experiencing new things, going on an adventure. So Sagittarius rules things like travel. It rules things that are far away or foreign to you. Okay. It also rules things like law, philosophy, religion, all of those things, right? Everything is larger than life. Anytime you're talking about Sagittarius. So 13 degrees of Sagittarius. So the numerology for this full moon is the number 4. So 4 is about stability. It's very much about groundedness. It's about a heads down approach to life. Now, what's interesting is the fact that we've got the number 4, which is about groundedness, as below. And then we've got Sagittarius. And I want you to look at the glyph for Sagittarius, that arrow pointing up to the sky, as above, so below. That is the nature of this particular full moon. Okay, so this is about getting grounded in your spirituality, getting grounded in your faith, getting grounded in the bigger picture. Okay, and having a sort of, like I said, heads down approach to it. So it's having like a practical approach to this. It's not just about, don't be like a helium balloon, right? Just up, 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 and you're not necessarily tethered to anything. This is about understanding that bigger universal picture, but then bringing it down to earth, solidifying it, making it real, and making it grounded, okay? This is bringing a sense of rationality into the picture. So again, that don't be like a helium balloon. You need to be at least tethered to something here on earth, okay? But it's also this energy of wisdom. And it's this energy of tapping into your inner wisdom and your inner faith, okay? Now, one of the other characteristics concerning the numerology of the number 4 is this element of service. Remember I said before, this is a time when many people are awakening. They're realizing what they're here to do. And what you're here to do maybe likely is something in service of humanity. And so I feel like that as above, so below energy, it's like that as above is sort of understanding your soul. And that as below, that numerology 4 energy is really about, okay, how do I do this for people? How do I practically implement my soul's mission, my soul's journey, and implement it in a way to be of service to others? I think many of us are going to be thinking about these things, or having experiences reflect this to us, okay? Because the full moon illuminates. It also is the culmination of things. So some of you may have a culmination when it comes to higher education. It's interesting that this full moon in Sagittarius is going down during graduation season, right? Astrology never lies. You may be graduating from law school. You may be graduating from college or a master's program. Like, that is full moon in Sagittarius shit, okay? This may be enlightening you. This may be showing you things about your current spiritual practices, your current spiritual teachers, your religion, things that you may really resonate with or things that you don't. It just may be showing you all of these things. And you have to understand that whatever's going on in your reality, whatever you're faced with, whatever is going on in your day-to-day is really just a reflection of these things. Don't get caught up in what's happening. Try to understand why what is happening and what lesson is it teaching you? What is it really showing you in terms of the bigger picture? Okay. Now, the number 4 is associated with the sign of Cancer. And interestingly enough, Cancer in the tarot is the Chariot. So this is about moving forward. And this is going to be really important based on the astrology, right? There's going to be this element of moving forward. And I'm going to get to that in a second, right? So there's also going to be this element of ancestry. And I think I briefly touched on this before. So I look up what is called Sabian symbols. Basically, it gives you an archetype story for every single degree of the zodiac. And so the Sabian symbol for 13 degrees of Sagittarius is a vast panorama of sand, and time is unfolding. The pyramids and the Sphinx in their glory rise before the eye. So it shows the power of history and the grandeur that goes along with it, along with the issues and the spiritual mysteries. So basically, to make a long story short, I feel like when it comes to certain historical patterns, when it comes to certain ancestral patterns, many of us are going to be enlightened with respect to this. Of course, the moon is full, so it's going to be shining like a spotlight on these things in an effort to move forward. Remember, I just said that the number 4 is associated with the sign of Cancer. Cancer is the Chariot. So it's moving forward from this ancestral place, from these ancestral patterns, and understanding sort of what needs to stay and what needs to go. Especially if you are someone who is here to break generational curses, who many of us are. This is you may find in your immediate environment around the time of this full moon, you may find instances and circumstances and situations that show you maybe how fucked up your family is, or maybe what your family or your ancestry or your lineage has been holding on to, which just isn't good, or it's holding you back, right? Or it's not allowing you to ascend. Maybe it could, I'm just giving an example, right? Just based on the astrology. Maybe it has to do with religion. Maybe you are going left when everyone else is going right. Everyone's like, listen, we need to keep, we've been doing this for decades. We've been staunch Catholics. We've been staunch Christians. We've been staunch, Muslims, right? And you're seeing how, but how has that really helped us? Or is it helping us? Or maybe there's parts of it that are helping you and parts that aren't. And you're the one who's looking at this and is like, this isn't working. It's definitely not working for me, right? And maybe it's not working for our family. But in understanding that and in healing that within myself, I heal my family. I heal my lineage. And I'm about to go on a little tangent, right? So it's not for you to wake up other people. And I want you to understand this, overstand this, understand this. It is not your job to shake people awake. It is not your job to heal people. As a matter of fact, that kind of goes against ethics in a way. If someone wants to be healed and they give you the consent to heal them, or they give you the consent to wake them up, then by all means, go for it. But you can't just say, listen, Aunt Shirley, wake the fuck up. Stop reading that Bible. Stop doing it. No, that's not your job. Because everyone has what they signed up for. May be that they have to go through this life through religion. Or there's something that they need to learn, or something that they need to see, or something that they need to complete on their own path. You just focus on you. Stay in your own lane. But understand the healing work that you do, recognizing the trauma, the stuff that has kept your lineage bound and maybe in a way that is not beneficial. Understand that, and healing that within yourself sets everybody free. So you don't even have to do the work on other people's behalf. You don't have to be healing people, waking people up here, there, and everywhere, right? You just do it for you. And those who resonate, those who see your light, they'll want to light their own light. And that's what this is about. That's what this full moon is about. That's what life is about right now, if I'm being completely honest. So this is understanding familial patterns. This is understanding ancestral patterns, even historical patterns. It may not even be something in your lineage. It may be something that you've been conditioned to believe, conditioned to follow, and understanding that doesn't work for you, and understanding that it's time to change it. And there's no better time than this full moon, because you're not only going to understand the big picture, you're going to be optimistic about it. Because let me tell you something, we're not always optimistic about the things that we have to do, the ascension that we're undergoing, the walking in our true authenticity. You don't always feel optimistic about that, because sometimes it's really hard. But the glory of the full moon in Sagittarius is that you're going to feel good about it. And it's best to strike when the iron is hot. Okay. And so while you have that motivation, while you have that optimism, while you see that bigger picture, take action. And speaking of taking action, the way that this full moon is situated is that the moon is going to be trine to Mars. And Mars energy. Mars likes to go. Mars likes to do the damn thing. Mars likes to take a risk and just start. And so you're going to have your engines revved up, right? So we've got the moon in a fire sign and we've got Mars in a fire sign. This is all about action. Okay? All about action. All about action. This is not only just about action, it's about being direct. It's like, listen, I want to go from point A to point B. What's the most direct route? This isn't about beating around the bush. This isn't about, oh, maybe this or some indirect backdoor sort of way. No, this is like busting through the door, waving a 4-4. Okay, not really. But this is like kicking down the door and getting shit done. All right. So be direct. And then, like I said before, you're gonna feel good because we're still gonna have that energy of Venus trine Neptune. So feeling good, feeling love, tapping into universal love and loving everyone else. Again, strike while the iron is hot. Like everyone's gonna, let me not say everyone, because some people are still on some fuck shit, but feeling loved, tapping into that energy of love, feeling like you are motivated, ready to go, amped up. And then you're going to have, and I'm going to get to this in a second, Mercury conjunct Uranus. So you're going to have flashes of insight. It's almost like it's almost like everything is going to align and boom, you're going to understand what you need to do, why you're here to do it, what generational curses you're breaking. You're going to be feeling good. You're going to be feeling loved. You're going to have clarity and you're just going to go. This is a week to go. This is a week to act and act from your God self. You'll know you're acting from your God self because it feels different. When you're acting from your ego, you're acting unconsciously. Here's an exercise that I want you to partake in. I want you to try to be conscious throughout the day. And in being conscious, you're going to see where you are mindlessly doing things. We are on autopilot for a lot of things. And a lot of times we don't even understand why we're doing it. It's just we're on autopilot. And it may have no real purpose or real benefit to us. Perfect example. You've got something to do, right? And what do? You pick up your phone and you're like, let me see what's going on Instagram. Let me see what he's talking about. That's mindless shit. I'm not saying that partaking in social media is mindless. It is not. But sometimes we just do it out of habit. We just do it to numb ourselves. We do a lot of things to numb ourselves. We do things unconsciously. So I challenge you to try to go through the day being conscious, asking yourself, why am I doing this? What does this mean? Like being aware of what it is you're doing and why you're doing it. When you understand that and you start moving from that place, that's when things really start to shift in your life. You're no longer mindless, unconscious, or asleep. This is how you wake up to yourself, and this is how you start consciously creating your reality. And it's not just like, I talk a lot about manifestation. A lot of people are talking about manifestation right now, and I love it because we all need to be on that vibe. But some people really just be talking about it just to like have shit. Like, oh yeah, like I can manifest a man, I can manifest anything. But for what reason? What is the underlying reason behind it? It's to show you who you are. This is how you achieve heaven on earth, is that you move, you live, you act from your God self. And yes, that includes manifesting a grand life purpose. It also includes manifesting a cup of coffee, or maybe manifesting, a great sweater or a nice trip. Like, it includes all of it. I'm not discounting anyone who is just pushing manifestation for the having part of it. But understand it encompasses so much more. And when you live from that place, when you act from that place, when you are in the knowing and the being of your God self, that's when life truly changes. Okay? Can't stress that enough. But yeah, that's the full moon in Sagittarius. So get into it. Tap in. It's going to be amazing. All right? Let's keep it moving. All right. And then we close out the week with a powerful conjunction between Mercury and Uranus, both in the sign of Taurus, and both will be at 20 degrees. Okay. Mercury conjunct Uranus, it's electric. Okay. So it stimulates your thinking. It adds excitement. It can add a little bit of chaos, right? But it's like it kind of jolts you awake. Okay. It's flashes of insight, like I said before. This is one of those transits where your intuition may have you doing some crazy shit. Or your intuition may be taking you in a direction where your mind is like, yo, are you for real? Like, this makes no sense. But this is where you really have to follow your intuition. This is where you have to listen to your inner voice, listen to your inner promptings, okay? Now, here's the thing. It's a very agitated kind of energy. So you may feel agitated. You may feel anxious. You may feel this undercurrent of energy. Okay. So it's one of those transits where you don't want to overdo it with caffeine or stimulants or anything like that, because you may feel like a crackhead, like real talk. So try to keep your anxiety at bay as best you can. I find one of the best ways to dispel anxious energy is to just get your body moving, whether it's exercise, whether it's dance, whether it's just going for a walk. Physically moving helps to move that energy around. So you may find the need to do that, because this is a very electric kind of transit. And the fact that it's going down in Taurus, like, you're going to feel this viscerally probably. So keep that in mind. It increases open-mindedness and intuition. Like I said, flashes of insight. You can understand things like astrology and the occult. It also represents unexpected news, and it's not good or bad. It kind of can just be neutral, like shit you just didn't expect. Like, oh my gosh, so-and-so just had a baby. Word? I didn't know that. Or maybe someone gives you like this advice that's like, whoa, like I really needed that. Like, that was just out of this world. Like, I always talk about Uranus as being the hand of God. Like, that's just like things beyond your control, things beyond your comprehension. And Mercury is that conduit. Mercury is the communicator. So it's almost like God communicating to you, but God may be communicating to you through other people. So that's why you may have these crazy conversations or this really great advice or this surprising news. It's just like the universe flowing through people and surprising you. It's also about chance encounters. This is what I said before about your intuition. Your intuition may be guiding you to do something crazy, do something out of the ordinary. Because you may feel distracted, you may have this desire for excitement, desire for something new. And this is your soul wanting to experience something, okay? Listen to it. There will be plenty of time for the mundane shit that we all have to do, right? Plenty of time for that. But this may be an opportunity. Like, your intuition may be like, you know what? You're driving home from work and your intuition is like, yo, make a left instead of a right. Like, let me see what's going on down here. Then you see there's like a street fair or something like that. You're like, oh, all right, cool. Oh, all right. Do a little shopping. Let's see what's going on. And so you see a vendor stall and they're selling like crystals, and you're like, I'm not really into this, but I kind of feel I like these. These are pretty. These are cute. And you end up getting a crystal that helps you out. That's maybe the energy that you're missing right now. Or maybe you make friends with the person who is selling the crystals. Or maybe you meet someone at this little street fair that turns into your future spouse or turns into a great friend. Or maybe they are your cousin's boss that your cousin is always talking about, right? It's chance encounters like that. I have a good friend of mine who I haven't spoken to in the longest time, but she was the one who really opened the door for me to spirituality. And she used to say this phrase, I will never forget. She used to say, follow the bender. Sometimes spirit will have you going in the weirdest places, doing the weirdest things. And let me not say weird, because weird maybe has a negative connotation to it. Doing these things out of the ordinary, doing things, going places, talking to people you normally wouldn't do. But then in having that experience, you may look back, like in the future, you may look back at that time and be like, listen, that's exactly what I needed. I didn't even know I needed this at that time. But it's like the universe gave it to me, all because I followed my intuition, or all because I had this feeling like, let me go here instead of there, or do this instead of that. Like that's what this transit is about. So do not ignore your intuition. Do not. And it may not even be like your intuition in that grand sense. It just may be like, you know what? I don't feel like doing this today. Or sometimes you may feel this pull towards things you're really desirous of. Or you may feel an aversion to something that you really don't want. Listen to those things. They are guiding you. I love this transit because it's like anything can happen. And just because anything can happen doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. It could be really great. Everything that happens is for your good. Everything. Even the worst things are for your good. Everything conspires for you, not against you. Everything, everyone is supporting you. Everything, everyone is here for you. And that's not coming from an ego place like, yeah, I'm the shit, of course. No, everything is working in your favor. Everything is being orchestrated in your favor. Everything, every mountain that is moved, every person that is moved is for you. And I feel like this particular transit always shows us that if you have the eye to see. Because sometimes what we see looks like a whole fucking mess, right? Or it looks like death, doom, and destruction. And you're like, how could this possibly be for my favor? So-and-so did this to me, or this happened to me. That's not in my favor. I beg to differ. It is. You can't see it because you're seeing with these. You just are seeing with this. When you see with this, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. And again, it's a great segue to wrap this up. That is what this full moon is going to be showing us. That is what we are going to be privy to under the light of this full moon. This shit is powerful. Because Sagittarius is a very powerful, all the signs are powerful. I'm not saying there's one sign that's more powerful than the other, but Sagittarius is the higher mind. It's also abundance. It's also good luck and good fortune too. So we've got some of that sprinkled here too. It's going to be a very beneficial moon, but it may show up in a way that doesn't look beneficial. Look past that. See from your higher self. Expand your mind and you will see that everything is abundance. Everything is good fortune. Every single thing is here for you, not against you. All right, my loves. So that's exactly what we got going on for this particular week. All right. Again, not too much. What's going on is pretty powerful. And as always, now it is time for messages from spirit. So you know the deal. I do this by sign, only because it's easier to do it by sign, right? But whether it's your sun, your moon, your rising, your Venus, your north node, your Jupiter, it doesn't matter. Whatever resonates, resonates. If you are trying to hear a message from someone else, like maybe your boo thing, maybe your husband or your wife, like if that resonates too, then it resonates. Like whatever floats your boat, that's what this is. All right. So as always, we start off with Aries. So let's see what we got for Aries this week. All right, Aries, you are in your manifestation bag this week. And I was immediately drawn to Neptune. So you guys have lofty goals and dreams and aspirations that you are manifesting. Like some of y'all are like, listen, it's time for me to have this shit. It's time for me to put the pedal to the metal and really manifest the fuck out of this life. Like y'all are really Aries about it. Like you're very direct. You're very amped. You're just like, yes, it's time. And Spirit is like, it is time. And understand that you have everything that you need. There is nothing that you need that is outside of you. Remember I said before, we all have that seed within us that has the directions, that has the code, that has the instructions to bloom and to blossom. So understand that manifestation is an inside job. Spirit is like, watch as many videos on YouTube as you like, but this is not about passively acting. And by passively acting, that's like, I'm watching a whole bunch of videos thinking I'm doing the work. No, it's time for you to roll up your sleeves and get your hands dirty, but understand that it is an inside job. If you do it from that place, if you manifest from your God self, there's nothing that you can't have, can't do, or can't be. All right. Powerful first message, right? Next up, we've got Taurus. Let's see what we got for Taurus for this week. Taurus, y'all are amped up. Y'all have some of that Aries energy, but y'all are just like, you guys are like the bull that has seen red. Like you are charging at something. There is something you are so direct about. Okay. And my dog is wilding out right now. So that means that I'm right. Y'all are charging bulls right now. And it's not anger. It's more determination. Yeah, you've got the Six of Swords. So y'all were in a place where you were either apathetic or you were just like getting carried on the sea of emotion. You may have come from a place, or in the recent past, you may have felt like you were being swayed by the ocean. You were either going with the tide, going with the flow, or you felt like you were just being tossed around. And now that's probably what's got you seeing red. And now you're like, yeah, no, it is time to move the fuck on. And you've got your horns up, your eyes are red, and you are just charging forward towards something. Y'all have a very specific goal, a specific thing that you want to accomplish, you want to have, and you are putting your full weight into it. And Spirit is like, yes, I co-sign this. Love it. Love that for you. All right. Next up, we've got Gemini. All right, Gemini, it is your season. So if you are a Gemini sun, happy birthday. Like, I wish nothing but the best for you. Some of my favorite people are Geminis. So end of May into June, busy birthday season around here. All right. Look at you showing up to your reading in your majesty. Some of y'all had made, this is actually not the card that fell out. It just happened to be the card at the bottom of the deck. You guys have made a decision about something. Some of y'all have gotten clarity in your mind about something or someone, and you're like, yes, this is what I'm doing. This is what I want. Especially because the sun is in your sign. So if you are having your solar return, it's like this energizing of yourself. If you've got Gemini rising, the sun is in your first house. So you're really focused on yourself. You're like, listen, this is what I want. Fuck what everyone else is talking about. Fuck what everyone else thinks. Like, I've made this decision for me. That's the kind of energy I'm getting for you. But let me pull this card. Yeah, you are feeling very much yourself this month, I want to say. Or this week. Let's see what else we have for you. Yeah, you've got the 10 of Wands. Some of you have been burdened by the expectations of others. Some of you have been carrying a lot of shit, whether it's responsibilities, whether it's like, this could be anything. This could be emotional trauma. This could be spiritual blockages. Like, you guys have just been holding on to a lot, and you've been moving through life this way. Like, you can tell this guy is moving, right? But he can't see where he's going because he's got all of these wands in his face. Like, some of you have really been influenced by a lot of people. Some of you are carrying other people's energy, other people's expectations. Some of you have just been bogged down by the weight of all of these things. And this is the time where you drop all of that shit and you're like, yeah, no. Some of you are setting up some serious boundaries. Some of you are like, yeah, not anymore. Some of you are like, nah, that's not for me. No, thank you. I'm focused on me now. I'm focused on what I want. And some of you are very clear and decisive on what you want right now. And Spirit is like, yes, finally. I've been waiting for you to drop all those sticks. And you're like, yes, that's what I'm doing right now. So there is this element of clarity. There's this element of, yes, this is what I want, and going after it and feeling much lighter, feeling unburdened is what I'm hearing. All right. Next up, we've got Cancer. Let's see what we've got for Cancer. We've got 2 for you. All right, Cancer, we've got the Ace of Cups. We also have the High Priestess. All right, Cancer, y'all are stepping into your psychic abilities right now. Like, this combination is just like, you are okay, here's what I'm getting. This is your natural state. High Priestess, this wellspring of emotion, right? With this Ace of Cups. But some of you have not felt safe. And safe is the very specific word that I'm hearing here. You haven't felt safe to really be yourself. Maybe it's life has gotten in the way. People have made you feel unsafe. However, you have not been safe. You have not felt safe enough to really be yourself. And finally, you are going to be able to get back to yourself. There's this feeling of safety. You can let yourself emote. You can let yourself feel things. For some, especially if you're on a spiritual journey, you may have opened a door that you didn't know how to close, and you experience some crazy psychic shit, some otherworldly shit, and you're like, oh my God, no. And it's almost one of those once bitten, twice shy kind of thing. You shied away from that for so long. And something about this full moon in Sagittarius is going to open a better door, or a more appropriate door, where you are feeling safe enough to be yourself, to be your naturally psychic self, your emotive self, your intuitive self. Okay. So see what unfolds this week. See how you're feeling. And if the opportunity presents itself, allow yourself to follow your intuition, trust your intuition, and allow yourself to feel again. Okay. Next up, we've got Leo. Let's see what we've got for Leo. All right, Leo. We've got the Five of Swords. In the matter of love, because that's what I'm seeing, I was drawn to Venus. Yep. In the matter of love, you are like taking no prisoners. Some of you have also really decided like who you want to be with, or even if it's not who you want to be with, it's like what kind of partner you want to have. And you are just like saying no to anything and anyone that is not that. Like you've become very clear on this is what I want. This is what I'm worth. This is what I deserve. And you're just like, someone comes at you on some bullshit. You're like, yeah, no, that's not what I want. This is kind of a big step for you because some of you tend to keep people around because they make you feel good or they give you attention. But this is the time when I should say, that you have successfully gone within and figured out who you are, or you will successfully go within and understand who you are. Like I said before, when you step into your God self, that's when your whole life changes. And in stepping into your God self, you're going to understand what is for you and what's not for you, or what is not on your level. It's not to say that you are better than anyone. That's not what I'm saying by any means. But sometimes we entertain things that are not of our highest good. And I feel like, Leo, you are probably going to break some hearts or maybe let some people down because you're going to realize that is just not for you. Some of the things that they're offering, so what they're bringing to the table, is just not for you. And so you're very decisive and determined with respect to find your match, find your equal when it comes to love, romance, and relationships. Okay. Next up, we've got Virgo. Let's see what we've got for Virgo. Okay. We've got the Ace of Swords. And we've got the Moon. Okay, so one of the themes I'm noticing this week is that a lot of people are receiving clarity, and you are no exception. So when it comes to your emotions, I think you're going to be able to cut through those emotions. Some of you are almost, I'm hearing the word freakish. Freakish in like, you're freakishly determined. This is a card of victory. It's a card of clarity. It's also a card of cutting through things. Okay. Some of you have gone through a perhaps turbulent time in terms of your emotions. Like I'm getting like some of you, you've really been in this season of like fear or anxiety. And there's something about this full moon that's going to cut through all that. You're going to have a lot of clarity. Like, you're going to understand what's your ego and what's of your soul. And you're coming at this from a very clear-headed place. It's almost like you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And you're like, listen, I understand now that what I've been doing has just been my fear taking over, or what I've been experiencing has just been my anxiety running the show. And you're cutting through that, and you're going to see a lot of clarity, experience a lot of clarity and determination at this point. That's another thing I'm hearing for everyone. A lot of people are going to be very determined in what they want, what they're here to do, what they want to have, etc. Okay. Next up, we've got Libra. Let's see what we've got for Libra. We've got the Devil. Okay. Now you see these two people chained together, right? Y'all are, some of you may be very, I'm hearing embroiled. And I feel like it's so apropos for this card with the fire and everything, like a broiler, right? Like some of you are embroiled in these relationships that are keeping you tied down. And I feel like the full moon is going to show this to you. It may not even be a relationship to people, okay? It may be like things that are keeping you way too tethered. Remember I said that with this full moon, see, as above, so below. You can't be a helium balloon and not be tethered, but you also can't be a rock that doesn't rise. And I feel like this week you're going to be shown what you are tethered to, or what you've been tethered to. the ties that bind, and what is holding you back. This could be fear. It could be self-esteem issues. It could be a relationship of some sort. It could be a job. It could be an environment, like maybe where you live, but something is keeping you very tethered and it's not allowing you to soar. The whole point of this full moon is seeing what needs to be done so you can soar. And I feel like this full moon is going to show you what's been holding you back. And you're going to feel resistance. You're going to feel it's like you've got your eyes to the sky and you want to soar, but you realize that you're chained down. And so this is going to present itself as resistance, as stagnancy, as an obstacle of some sort. So keep your eyes open for what is keeping you tethered. I feel like it's going to express itself and reveal itself loud and clear this week. Okay. Next up, we've got Scorpio. Let's see what we've got for Scorpio. All right, we've got the 3 of Pentacles. So Scorpio, y'all are in a building phase. Your messages have been very clear and sort of in succession over the last couple of weeks. Y'all are holding on to things. Y'all are building things. I'm hearing master builder. Some of you may want to check your numerology. You may be in a master builder phase of your life right now. But I get the sense that you are building something. You are working towards something. You are you've rolled up your sleeves and you're actually putting in the work. And so I feel like this full moon in Sagittarius may be a culmination of sorts for you. This may show how something that you've been working on is finally complete, or you find the missing piece to the puzzle. But by and large, I feel like this full moon is just going to have you doing more of the same. I feel like you're on the right track and you guys are just building. And whatever you're building, it's something grand. It's something, I was talking about ancestry before. Like it's something that your descendants can enjoy or your descendants will benefit from. You're doing something really big right now. And I'm hearing like congratulations, because whatever you're doing, you're on the right track. So just keep doing what you're doing. Okay. Next up, we've got Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, this full moon is going down in your sign. So there may be a lot of personal enlightenment that you receive with this full moon. But let's pull a card and see what else we have. Yeah, we've got the Fool. This is such untethered energy. Like you guys are taking a new leap. It's time for a new adventure. It's time for jumping off the cliff and learning how to fly on the way down. Like you guys are very optimistic. I want to say to a fault, but I don't even think so. I think you've got an extra surge of optimism. And so whatever you start right now, I feel like you are starting it. You see how the sun is shining and he looked like he has not a care in the world. That's how this full moon is going to have you feeling. So this is the time to take action. Like I said before, anything you take action on, this may come as natural to you, but it bears mentioning, is that have full, complete, and unwavering faith. That's all you need to do. Take that leap, follow the bender, follow your intuition, and you are starting a completely new chapter, a new cycle right now. Just do it big. Do a Sagittarius style, basically. All right. Next up, we've got Capricorn. All right, Capricorn, we have the Star. There is a cleansing going on with you. I feel like this particular full moon may be kind of emotional for you. You know how I was talking about that Venus trine Neptune energy and it's like crying happy tears? I think some of you are going to be doing that this full moon. So this may be a culmination. Something may be coming to a culmination. Something may be coming to a grand finale. And it has you feeling super emotional. It's like those tears are so cleansing. They're so cathartic. It's something that you may have always wanted, something that you've been aspiring toward. And it may not be the full fruition of it, but you may see tangible evidence of this thing unfolding and this thing blossoming. And I think that it's going to have you feeling really, really good. Okay. So enjoy it. You've definitely deserve it. You earned it, and you are most definitely worthy of it. Next up, we've got Aquarius. All right, Aquarius, we've got the 10 of Pentacles. So Finances are looking good this week. That's number one. Number two, the Ten of Pentacles talks a lot about ancestry. It talks about lineage. It talks about ancestors. And so some of you may be really examining the past in a very tangible and practical sort of way. Almost like, you know, the example I'm getting is like, oh, you know, diabetes runs in our family. But, you know, every Sunday dinner, you've got food cooking that's fried, you've got cakes, you've got pastries, and this is what you did, what your mom did, what your grandma did, right? And suddenly you're like, you know what? We don't need to eat like this anymore. Maybe we should eat a little healthier. Maybe we should add a couple of vegetables. Maybe we should not fry the chicken, right? And in doing so, you are setting an example for those to come. So now generations going forward, they won't be suffering from those medical issues because their diet has changed. That's sort of the way that this works out in a practical sort of way. So I feel like you are examining the past and making practical changes in order to change the future. Like I feel like this is what this full moon in Sagittarius is really bringing to you. So that's very good. I see you taking active, practical action to change things. All right, so that was Aquarius. And last but certainly not least, we've got Pisces. So let's see what we've got for Pisces for this week. Okay. First up, we've got the Eight of Pentacles. And then we have the Empress. All right, Pisces. So money is looking good for you as well. This also speaks to work and abundance. All right. So this could be more money, a promotion. This could be some sort of recognition. This could be like your position being assured. It's just, I feel like work is a source of security for you. But guess what? This work that's all luxurious and that's all like this, it's the work that you are supposed to be doing, meaning your soul's work. So for some, you know how this may present itself? This may present itself as the job that you have, the career that you have right now. You're like, yo, I can't take this anymore. This is not fulfilling me. Something may come to a head and it drives you. It has you going within and being like, what am I supposed to be doing? And it's not even, here's the thing. When it comes to our soul's mission, a lot of times it's things that you like to do. It's things that you're fired up about doing. It's not like, okay, now I've got to learn reflexology and I've got to learn, I Ching and shit like that because I need to be this spiritualist. No, your soul purpose may be a hairdresser. Your soul purpose may be a potter, right? But you're doing it and you do it with love. So maybe that pot that you're making, it really makes someone's day. You imbue it with love. You imbue it with your soul. And it brings happiness to someone. It could be as simple as that. You don't have to complicate this process. What do you like to do? What are you fired up about doing? And when you start doing that, that's when you get this. Sitting pretty, that Empress energy. Empress energy is all about abundance. That abundance comes from doing the work that you are here to do. And the Eight of Pentacles, it talks about mastery. It's very hard to master shit that you don't like. It's very hard to master things that you're not meant to do. Okay? When you are working, again, from your God self, that's when this energy comes in. That's when this Empress energy, sitting pretty, money's not an issue, you're poised and you are situated for success and abundance. It's when you are moving from your God self, when you're moving from what you're supposed to be doing or what you're let me not say supposed to, because that gives the connotation that maybe there's things that you're not supposed to be doing. The job that you're in right now that you don't like, or maybe the career that you're in that you're not succeeding in, it serves a purpose also. Trust and believe that. But now maybe the time where you need to start cultivating your soul's mission, what your soul is like, girl, we need to be doing this. Or remember when we were little and we used to do this and how much fun it was? Maybe it's time to revisit that. Or I feel pulled to learn this thing. Maybe that's what I should be doing. All right. So Pisces, you've got some work to do. You've got to figure out, or you've got to, let me not say figure out, because I don't want you racking your brain, looking all over the place, trying to think of what should I be doing right now? Your soul already knows. Your soul has that instruction innate within it. You just have to tap into that, and that will blossom and grow. And that's what's going to give you that Empress energy. All right, my loves. That concludes this edition of the weekly Astro Forecast. I sincerely hope that you were able to get at least one important piece of information that you could use going forward into this week. All right. For information on my products and services, all of that will be in the description box below. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. I wish you nothing but the best for this upcoming week and this upcoming full moon in Sagittarius. All right, my loves, thank you so much for tuning in. Have an amazing week, and I will see you on Wednesday for the monthly Astro Forecast. All right, my loves, take care.